Good day, here are today's top stories from the Pna Headlines. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. welcomed the improvements in the response time of the Philippine National Police or PNP to emergency situations. The President observed firsthand the rapid response capability of police officers to calls made through the 911 hotline. He noted that police personnel can now respond to 911 calls within 3 to 5 minutes. PNP Chief Police General Nicolas Torre III also showed the President live footages from body cameras worn by on-duty police personnel on patrol. The President said this improvement is in response time reflects the government's efforts to modernize law enforcement and strengthen public safety. For his part, the PNP chief ordered all personnel to continue on patrol duty and stand by for calls directed by 911. The Department of Agriculture or DA plans to make cheaper pork available to more Filipinos by selling them through its Kadiwa ng Pangulo site starting this August. DA Secretary Francisco Tiu Laurel Jr. said the cheaper pork will be made available to all buyers and not just minimum wage earners as long as supplies last. He said the pork to be sold at Kadiwa sites will be cheaper because the Food Terminal Incorporated will directly buy hogs from farms, butcher them, and deliver the meat to outlets. Tiu Laurel also said the move may help lessen inflationary pressures on pork. The cheaper pork will be initially available in Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, and Metro Davao, as well as in 38 Kadiwa centers and public markets and sites accredited by the Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE. Tiu Laurel also said there will be no maximum suggested retail price or MSRP for local pork, while the hog industry is still undergoing repopulation due to the effects of African swine fever in the country. The DA Secretary said an MSRP cannot be implemented considering the short supply of local pork. On the other hand, the DA will impose an MSRP on frozen imported pork. This follows reports that some traders are selling imported pork labeled as local pork at higher prices. The MSRP will also add about 5 to 10 pesos on the price of imported pork. Tiu Laurel meanwhile said the current high retail prices may be tamed once cheaper options are readily made available. The Department of Human Settlements and Urban Developments, or DHSUD, is tapping non-government organizations to make President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s housing programs more people-centric and inclusive. DHSUD Secretary Jose Ramon Aliling led a dialogue on ways to engage the public more through the expanded Pambansang Pabahay para sa Pilipino or 4PHX program. Aliling said the expanded 4PHX program will include all feasible modalities that could reach more beneficiaries such as rental housing, horizontal developments, and incremental housing. He stressed that President Marcos Jr. had directed for them to be able to cover the poorest of the poor and those in the lower income brackets, which are the mandated beneficiaries of government housing programs. Aliling earlier ordered the expansion of 4PH to include horizontal developments or subdivisions like housing projects and rental housing. 3 private developers have so far committed more than 50,000 units under the horizontal 4PHX. Meanwhile, the University of the Philippines, Diliman, expressed readiness to collaborate with DHSUD in establishing a rental housing scheme. And in news on the weather, expect rain showers today as a low-pressure area and the easterlies affects parts of Luzon and the rest of the country. The LPA is unlikely to develop into a tropical depression within 24 hours. However, it will bring scattered rains and thunderstorms over Metro Manila, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, Bicol Region, Zambales, Bataan, Pampanga, and Bulacan. Isabela, Quirino, and Aurora may also experience scattered rains and thunderstorms due to the easterlies. Moderate to heavy rains in these areas could result in flash floods or landslides. Meanwhile, the rest of the country can expect isolated rain showers caused by the easterlies and localized thunderstorms. And in our business news, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is expected to sign soon a bill that would amend the Right-of-Way Act ratified by lawmakers before the 19th Congress adjourned last week. Transportation Secretary Vince Dizon on Monday said the measure could solve issues concerning subterranean right-of-way, which is affecting government infrastructure projects such as the Metro Manila Subway Project. The 488 billion peso subway project will consist of 17 stations from Valenzuela City to Bicutan in Taguig, plus a spur line to the Ninoy Aquino International Airport or NAIA. The DOTR already secured right-of-way under an exclusive subdivision in Quezon City, but it faced issues in BGC and Metro Walk. Dizon said he hopes that at least 2 or 3 stations could be done before Marcos steps down in 2028. Meanwhile, remittances from overseas Filipinos increased by 4% and reached $2.66 billion this April, up from $2.56 billion in April of last year. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas said the growth in cash remittances during the month was the highest since December 2022 at 5.8%. The central bank reported higher growth of remittances from the United States, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, and the United Arab Emirates. Cash remittances for January to April 2025 amounted to $11.11 billion, up by 3% from $10.78 billion from last year. On the other hand, personal and in-kind remittances went up by 4.1% to 2.97 billion pesos in April 2025 from 2.86 billion in April of 2024. Oikonomia Advisory and Research Incorporated economist Reniel Matt Erese said remittances usually grow fast during the summer months, such as in April. Meanwhile, remittance inflows from OFWs are likely to grow due to the relative strength of the peso. And those are the latest and the biggest stories from the Pna Headlines. For more news updates, visit our website pna.gov.ph or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. You may also watch the Pna Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account and via the News and Information Bureau website under Pna News. I am William Theo. This is the Pna Headlines, bringing you stories that unite the nation.